Hello everyone, welcome back to Ruby Tarot. Thank you so much for always following and supporting the channel. The moment you come across this video is the right time for you to receive a message. On this channel, I always bring you messages about what's coming next in your life. When you open your heart and trust in positive possibilities, you're also connecting with a parallel world, one where your wishes have already come true. Today, through this tarot reading, I'll help you find guidance in your love life and manifest the desires within your heart. The theme of today's reading is your person's true feelings right now, someone you're no longer in contact with. Let's dive in and explore this together. I've chosen 3 cards representing Pile 1, Pile 2, and Pile 3. Take a moment to tune into your intuition and choose the card that draws you in the most. Then, click the corresponding timestamp in the video description to jump straight to your reading. Now, let's begin the session with those of you who've already made your selection. Hello, Pile 1. Thank you for waiting. Now, I'll begin the reading for those of you who chose the first pile. I hope this session brings you healing, fresh insights, and moments filled with love. The theme today is your person's true feelings right now, someone you're no longer in contact with. First, let's take a look at their current state of being. The cards that have appeared are Four of Pentacles, King of Wands, the Fool, and 10 of Wands. Alongside them, 2 oracle cards also came out simultaneously. When I look at these cards, the first phrase that comes to mind is returning to the beginning or back to where it started. This person seems to be reflecting deeply, possibly even wishing they could start all over again. It's likely that things between the two of you once flowed smoothly, but recently, the energy suggests that they're leaning toward wanting to redo something, to make amends, or to restore something that was lost. They appear to be turning inward, questioning themselves about past choices and decisions. There may be a strong feeling within them, was I wrong? Was that decision a mistake? And this internal conflict is leaving them hesitant, unable to act. Perhaps from the very beginning, this person hasn't been the type to take initiative, and now that trait is even more apparent. It seems like they're standing on the edge of having to return to square one, or at the very least, feeling like they're being called to restart something that was once left unfinished. Next, let's explore the reason why the two of you are no longer in contact. The cards representing the cause behind why the relationship couldn't continue include 10 of Swords, the Fox card symbolizing suspicion and calculation, the Magician, the Moon, and 2 of Pentacles. An additional card, the 6 of Pentacles, appeared along with the image of a mountain. Altogether, these cards paint a picture filled with complexity. It's possible that there was betrayal, emotional wounds, or a sense that trust between the two of you had been broken. The Fox card suggests that one person, either your person or you, sensed something deceptive, or perhaps one of you tried to control the relationship through manipulation or dishonesty. The appearance of both the Magician and the Moon indicates that something was kept hidden, feelings that weren't clearly expressed, unspoken truths, or emotions that were concealed. The 2 of Pentacles reflects a state of indecision, imbalance, or being torn between choices. Meanwhile, the 6 of Pentacles accompanied by the mountain symbol highlights a lack of reciprocity. Perhaps one person was always giving while the other only received, with no mutual exchange of emotional effort or intention. All of this accumulated over time and became like a mountain, an overwhelming obstacle that ultimately prevented the two of you from finding your way back to one another. 3 oracle cards have appeared in this part of the reading, and I sense some very clear messages coming through. First of all, it seems that within this relationship, there was influence from outside opinions, how others viewed the connection. One of you, perhaps your person, was deeply affected by this. It might have been worry about gossip, social pressure, or even real instances of rumors and negative talk surrounding the relationship. Although this won't apply to everyone, this energy still comes up as something worth noting. Another strong energy present is the feeling of having reached a limit, as if there was a boundary that simply couldn't be crossed, something that blocked the two of you from moving forward. One side may have felt too exhausted, or perhaps just no longer had the strength or willingness to keep trying. Additionally, there's a message related to unmet expectations, the giving or receiving of expectations, and whether they were fulfilled. For example, the things you hoped for in this connection may not have been returned in the way you needed or imagined. Or if they were, they came in a different form, one that didn't align with your hopes. Conversely, it's also possible that your person had expectations of you, something they wished for that you couldn't or didn't want to meet. In other words, the two of you are not aligned in vision, in rhythm, or in the core needs you each brought to this relationship. Finally, the remaining two cards suggest that one of you, either you or your person, had something deeply meaningful they wanted to pursue in life, a strong desire unrelated to love. This may have been a career path, a personal goal, or a dream that held significant emotional investment. And this connects back to the theme of expectations, both the absence of expectations and the pressure of perceived perfection. It's possible that your person once felt burdened by the pressure to appear perfect in your eyes, or struggled to balance their personal ideals with the desires of the relationship. All of this gradually led the connection into a state of stagnation, even if there had once been deep appreciation between the two of you. Perhaps in this relationship, one of you, again, it could be you or them, once held an idealized expectation of perfection. Or maybe from the beginning, the two of you belonged to very different worlds. There was a gap between you that made the relationship feel distant or out of reach. Alongside this, the energy of busyness is also quite strong. There may have been a mismatch in life rhythms, conflicting schedules, time zone differences, or simply an inability to align your lives to make space for each other. As I look deeper into the cards, I can clearly sense a disparity between you and your person. This may be a difference in life circumstances, social standing, or perhaps both. For example, you might be in a relatively stable phase of life, secure, well-supported, and with favorable conditions, while your person seems to be struggling with financial concerns, career instability, or an unsettled personal life. This imbalance may have allowed you the emotional space and time to invest in love, while your person, on the other hand, felt weighed down by the need to survive, to push forward, making it hard for them to return your affection as fully as you had hoped. Because of this, there may have been times when you wanted to meet, to be close, but they simply couldn't make it work. They couldn't take a break, couldn't find the time, not because they didn't want to, but because their current reality forced them to prioritize other things. And slowly, this began to create distance between the two of you, not a distance of emotion, but one rooted in real-life circumstances. This is exactly what the Oracle card is emphasizing. This connection was heavily influenced by practical matters, time, living conditions, economic differences. All these seemingly small things, in the end, gradually pushed the two of you apart. The family card has also appeared here, and I've pulled an additional card to clarify the message it wants to convey. Overall, this reading reflects a noticeable difference in pace between you and your person. The two of you are not moving at the same speed. Additionally, the earlier appearance of the Magician suggests that this relationship may have never fully begun in a clear, grounded way, or it simply wasn't able to unfold as hoped. Perhaps you, or your person, had once waited for something to take off, for the connection to deepen, but things remained stagnant. And because of that, the emotional bond couldn't be sustained, and stability was hard to maintain. To clarify the family card, I drew two more cards, Death and the Ace of Cups. These bring a very clear message. Within this connection, family was a significant influence. It's possible that your person had to devote their love and attention entirely to their family, or that a specific situation involving family became the reason this relationship was delayed, put on hold, or even brought to an end. This message can also suggest that your person may have once considered the idea of building a family with you, but that very vision became a source of pressure. They may have felt inadequate, unprepared, or simply not ready to take on such a responsibility. And because of that, they couldn't continue the relationship. The energy of the cards also reveals something quite sorrowful, a sense of emotional emptiness. Perhaps you gave so much, yet what you received never quite met your expectations. Maybe you longed for a love that was wholehearted, for a response that felt complete, but your person couldn't provide that. It's also possible that they themselves felt powerless, like no matter how hard they tried, they still couldn't make you truly happy. Despite their efforts, you may have continued to feel unfulfilled, unloved in the way you truly wished to be. It was a connection where love existed, yet satisfaction was lacking and emotional needs weren't equally met, and that became one of the reasons the two of you slowly drifted apart. Next, let's delve into a very important aspect: what your person once longed to release, an emotion, a burden, or a silent yearning they've been carrying in their heart all this time. As soon as the cards were laid out, a clear message emerged. Your person deeply wanted to feel seen. They longed for your recognition, for you to acknowledge their efforts, to praise them, to tell them they had done well, that they were worthy of love. They had once hoped for a word of encouragement, a gentle gaze, a moment of affirmation from you, something they perhaps never received in the way they needed. And that longing for acknowledgement is something they've held quietly in their heart for a long time. The cards that have appeared are the King of Swords, Four of Wands, and the Mouse card. The energy here reveals that your person was once in a state of emotional overload, completely overwhelmed, as if they had tried so hard, given their all, and yet still didn't receive the recognition or outcome they deserved. Deep in their mind, there's a sense of disappointment and disillusionment, a feeling like no matter what I do, it's never enough. The Mouse card reflects a kind of silent depletion, fatigue that accumulated over time, with small, seemingly insignificant things building up into an immense pressure. Your person may have felt misunderstood, unheard, not only by you, but also by those around them. They may have endured heavy expectations, frequent criticism, or felt trapped in relationships where they weren't truly seen or supported. Within your connection as well, they carried the feeling of being cornered, with no escape route, no one in their corner. Even though they gave all they could, it still felt like no one acknowledged their efforts. Next comes the Seven of Pentacles along with the Coffin card, symbols of weary waiting. Your person may have found themselves silently asking, when will all my efforts finally be rewarded? When will this love bear fruit? Will what I've been striving for ever truly manifest? The feeling they carry, or once carried, is one of exhausted sadness. It's as though they had planted so many seeds, held on to so much hope, and yet now all that remains is fatigue and doubt. I'm so tired, that is what they longed to say out loud, what they had been suppressing deep within. And now, through this reading, those emotions are finding release. Your person seems to be genuinely worn down, not just because of this relationship, but from the sheer weight of all the pressures surrounding them. As mentioned earlier, you too may have been part of that ecosystem, where, despite all their efforts, they were haunted by the feeling that nothing they did was ever enough. They gave so much, and yet everything felt like a loop with no end, a string of days filled with effort, but no clear response. And from deep within this reading, there is a strong sense that their physical body may also be nearing its limit. It's not just emotional exhaustion, it's very likely that their body has grown weary too, pushed far beyond its capacity. The next cards, the Sun, Three of Pentacles, and the Birds reveal something very clear. Your person once longed for freedom, desperately wishing to escape that exhausting cycle. They wanted to break away, to live life on their own terms, to take a deep breath without the weight of constant pressure on their chest. When they looked at this relationship, they had things they wanted to express, ideas they wanted to share, perhaps ways they hoped the two of you could experience life together or build something meaningful side by side. But what wore them down the most was the lingering feeling that no matter what they did, it never seemed to satisfy you. In their eyes, you may have appeared very clear about your emotions and expectations, and when their efforts didn't receive the kind of response they had hoped for, it slowly made them feel rejected, as though they weren't good enough. Take a simple example, a meal. Your person might have wanted to make you happy and suggested a dish they thought you'd enjoy. But if, in that moment, you declined and said you preferred something else, it may have seemed trivial to you, but to them it left a mark. And if small moments like that repeated over time, they added up to a deep-seated feeling within them. I can't seem to do anything right. No matter how hard I try, it's never enough. All of these experiences became a silent torment your person once carried deep within, a quiet sense of failure. And now, as these emotions are revisited through the reading, they are slowly beginning to release. Looking at everything that transpired between the two of you, it's clear that your person often felt a lingering sense of disappointment. No matter what they did, the outcome never matched their expectations. The actions they had once carefully thought through, planned with intention, often didn't bring about the effect they had hoped for. This led to a prolonged emotional spiral, feelings of failure, of not being acknowledged, of being unable to fully connect with you. The next oracle card brings forth a very direct message. Even though your person once gave everything they could, offering the best of themselves at that time, they still felt unable to reach the sense of fulfillment they perceived in you. In their eyes, you seem to possess a rich, radiant energy, whether in terms of financial stability, lifestyle, self-assurance, or inner security. And no matter how much they tried, they couldn't seem to bridge the gap to that place. This wasn't exactly envy, it was more of a helplessness, a deep feeling of not being worthy, of simply not being enough. From the energy of this reading, I can also sense that there may have been a gap between the two of you, whether in terms of finances, lifestyle, or life philosophy. You might be someone who cherishes beauty, who gravitates toward elegance, vibrancy, and refinement. Meanwhile, your person may have been someone who valued simplicity, someone who believed joy could be created from imagination and the little things in life. They may have poured their creativity into trying to make you happy, building a world where both of you could share joy, but still ended up feeling that they could never truly give you what you desired most. Perhaps, from your perspective, those differences didn't matter. But to them, they left quiet scratches on the heart, wounds that made them feel like they were always falling behind. Over time, this grew into a deeper contrast in core values between what you needed and what they were capable of giving. Now, we move into a very important part of the reading, what your person currently thinks about the relationship between the two of you. All of the cards drawn in this section are major arcana, signifying that this relationship still holds an incredibly significant place in their heart. In particular, one of the cards that appeared is the Lovers, a symbol of deep emotional connection, of a soul-level bond. To your person, you were, and perhaps still are, a partner, a companion they cannot easily replace. The card that has just been drawn reveals a rather heavy energy, and I understand that for some of you, what's about to be shared may be a little difficult to take in. Therefore, please listen with your intuition and only hold on to what truly resonates with your heart. The cards that have appeared here include the Fool, accompanied by the Nine of Wands, followed by the Ring, the Empress, the Emperor, Five of Wands, the Star, the World, with an additional card being the Three of Wands, along with one card representing you. 3 oracle cards have also shown up. Altogether, these cards are indicating that this person currently feels unable to move forward in this relationship. There is something akin to a boundary, a limit, a halt, possibly one they have set for themselves, or something that both of you have silently agreed upon. A warning is being sent that there is an unresolved issue between you two, or that you may be walking separate paths. And this needs to be acknowledged. A card symbolizing loss has also appeared. This person seems to carry within them the feeling that, this is something I shouldn't choose anymore. I'm not allowed to return to that path. It's not because they no longer have feelings for you. On the contrary, they still hold a beautiful affection in their heart. They still think of you as someone incredibly special, someone whose memory still stirs admiration and deep regret within them. But they cannot go any further. They feel that if they continue, something uncontrollable may happen, perhaps pain, perhaps deeper conflicts. And so they have chosen to stop. Though the feelings remain, reason has taken over. They don't want to hurt you, and they also don't want to endure further pain themselves. So they keep those emotions inside, choosing to turn in another direction, even though your image still lingers in their heart as something beautiful, yet unreachable. These 3 cards are delivering a very clear message. This person senses that they need to let go. They see that this relationship, if it comes too close again, if the distance isn't maintained, could become dangerous, could lead to something beyond control. That's why they've drawn a boundary, a safety zone, not because the feelings have vanished, but because the closer they get, the more likely it is for both of you to be hurt. The Ring card appearing here may not necessarily refer to you. It could be pointing to another commitment. Alongside the presence of the Emperor, the Empress, and the image of a family, it's possible that this person is bound to another relationship, a responsibility, or a long-established framework. If you feel this doesn't align with your situation, you may be listening to the wrong reading and should choose a message that resonates more clearly. But if this feels true to you, then this is the reason why they cannot move toward you, even though the feelings are still there. There's also another possibility. Perhaps there was once a relationship between you and this person, and now it has taken shape, meaning that both of you have come to define it in a certain way. Perhaps you were once lovers, deeply close, or made promises to each other. But now, things have settled into a fixed pattern, and, because of that, there's no longer room for growth. Another element the spread is highlighting is the inability to be fully open. Both you and this person may have had things you wanted to say, but never said. There may have been genuine emotions that were hidden away. And over time, that has gradually faded the connection between you. In addition, this person may also be carrying the feeling that you are someone out of reach. Perhaps you're too captivating, too strong, too radiant, making them feel that they're not enough, not worthy, not equipped to keep you by their side. In their eyes, you are someone of high value, someone everyone desires, but very few can truly belong with. And ultimately, what the cards want to emphasize is the importance of returning to the beginning. Perhaps both you and this person have strayed too far from the original feelings. The spread is gently whispering, if there's still something you haven't let go of, try to remember the early days when you first met. Those feelings may not come back the same way, but they can help you understand why it all began in the first place. They still think that you're not someone who can be encountered just anytime. You're someone special, someone whose presence can be imprinted in the heart after just one meeting. But precisely because you are so special, they feel even more strongly that they must keep their distance to avoid making things harder for both of you. This may be what they're thinking. And if we look at the reading from another perspective, not as an unformed relationship, but as one that once existed, such as a past romance or even a marriage, then the message that emerges here will carry a different nuance. For some of you, what I'm about to share may be a little hard to accept, but the spread is revealing that, in this person's mind, you may now be seen as someone who once belonged to them. This perception doesn't carry a particularly positive tone. It feels more like a sense of possession. You used to be mine, and because of that, they no longer see anything new in you. They might be seeking something fresher, something that has never belonged to them before. From another angle, you may be perceived by them as the one who left. They see you as the person who walked away, who slipped out of their arms, and this brings up feelings of regret or abandonment. These emotions may coexist with an exterior of indifference, as if they're trying not to show they've been affected, while deep inside, there are unresolved layers that haven't been brought to clarity. Next, we'll look at what this person might be regretting, if anything, about this connection. The cards that have shown up include the Knight of Wands, the Nine of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and an additional card, the Two of Swords. 2 oracle cards also accompany this part of the reading. And one rather surprising thing is this: at present, this person is showing the energy of no regret. At least on the surface, they are trying to appear as if there's no remorse within them. They are living in a state where they feel fine, or at least convincing themselves that the choice they made was the right one. The Knight of Wands and Nine of Cups reveal a very proactive energy, at times even bordering on self-satisfaction. They may be chasing after things that make them feel more alive, more excited. The Queen of Pentacles represents you, someone who once offered them warmth, stability, and compassion. But the Two of Swords shows that they were once torn, once stood at a crossroads, and in the end, they chose to take a different path. However, that doesn't mean you were not valuable in their eyes. On the contrary, it was precisely because you were so warm, so emotionally generous, that they felt they couldn't truly hold onto you, or didn't know how to cherish you properly. And so, they chose to avoid confronting their true feelings. Even if they appear indifferent on the outside, deep within, they may still be hiding a hollow space, one they themselves haven't yet found the courage to face. When the question is asked whether this person feels any regret about the relationship, the card drawn suggests that, at present, they may feel content with where things stand, or perhaps they believe they've already done everything they possibly could. There's a sense that all efforts have been exhausted, that they tried their best, and now they feel there's nothing more they can do. The answer reflected in the card implies that, within their own capacity, they've given everything, expressed all they had to give. So when it comes to regret, perhaps there isn't any, or maybe they're simply trying not to think about it anymore. This is the state the card reveals. And finally, this is the part that reveals their true emotions in the present moment. Perhaps this is a complex relationship, and many of you who chose this pile are also caught in similarly tangled connections. That energy comes through very clearly. Was this person ever truly sincere with you? There's a slight sense here that they may not have been completely honest with you, or at least, there were moments when sincerity was lacking. This impression arises in the reading as a lingering question. At the same time, there is also the opposite possibility, though likely for only a small number of people, that this person may feel you were the one who wasn't honest with them. This, of course, depends on each specific situation and individual story, but that impression is also present in the energy of this reading. Now we move on to the next part. The cards drawn include the Lovers, supplemented by the Devil and the Hierophant. These cards reveal that between the two of you, there was once a period of intense passion, a powerful mutual attraction, moments of vivid emotional connection in the past. However, if there's something that made this relationship complicated, it may have been jealousy, control, emotional dependency, or overwhelming feelings that weren't entirely healthy for either of you. In their heart, you are still someone they love, and perhaps, even now, they still carry that love. But whether this relationship can develop any further, the answer is no. And perhaps you, too, already sense that deep down. The combination of the Lovers, the Devil, and the Hierophant suggests a connection involving secrecy, possibly a hidden relationship, or something that didn't align with conventional norms. Though the two of you once illuminated each other, once found it impossible to hold back your emotions, it doesn't necessarily mean this relationship is healthy or can be sustained. Next come the cards: Queen of Swords, Three of Cups, and the Tower. These cards suggest that this person is deeply affected by external influences, particularly by how things might impact others or the surrounding circumstances. This could be related to the earlier mention of secrecy. That's why there's a sense that this person hasn't been entirely honest, not because they don't love you, but because they are very concerned about what is happening around you and them. They weigh these factors carefully, showing more concern for the environment and external dynamics than focusing solely on the connection between the two of you. In addition, there is a gap between the image they project and what they truly feel inside. This is also something that stands out strongly in this reading. This person may feel the need to present a certain image, to behave according to a particular standard when they are around you. They try to maintain an appearance of composure, of doing the right thing. But deep down, the truth is they still long for you, still desire to be close to you. However, that emotion is not something they allow themselves to express, nor do they let you see it. And what I'm about to say may be difficult for some to hear, so if it doesn't resonate with your situation, feel free to set it aside. It's possible that, for some cases, this person no longer desires a clearly defined romantic relationship. Instead, they may be seeking a different kind of connection, a bond where the two of you can talk, share, and support each other like close friends, like someone who truly understands them and with whom they can confide. Next come the cards: Three of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, and those representing a third party. These cards suggest that the two of you may have hurt each other in the past, or that your presence in each other's lives has, at some point, brought pain. The feeling that being together somehow leads to hurting one another is strongly present in the reading. This seems to be a complex relationship, and many of you may find yourselves in similarly tangled situations. This person still remembers having unintentionally caused you pain. Although that sorrow hasn't shown up as overt regret in the earlier cards, you remain someone they've hurt, and that weighs heavily on their mind. At the same time, it's also possible that they themselves were deeply wounded in this relationship, and now they are trying, quietly and in their own way, to express that hurt. Through the relationship between the two of you, this person seems to have learned a great deal. They may have realized that they once did something they shouldn't have, or at the very least, they've encountered some major lessons through this emotional journey. They've gained new insights, come to important realizations through the very connection they shared with you. If this was a complicated relationship, then the emotions they once pursued so persistently, whether right or wrong, have left deep and lingering echoes. Cards like the Sword and the Devil suggest that from those intense emotions came pain, inner conflict, and a sense of emotional exhaustion. Perhaps both of you caused each other heartache, or perhaps this person themselves went through a period of intense internal struggle. They still think about you, wondering things like, "I wonder how you're doing these days, are you okay?" They haven't been able to completely remove your image from their mind. In truth, you still occupy a very vivid space in this person's heart. The appearance of the Lover's card is once again confirmation that you remain on their mind. The Nine of Pentacles also reflects that you are seen as an important figure, a presence they still remember and treasure deeply within. However, two cards have also appeared that carry the energy of betrayal. This feeling could stem from various directions. Perhaps they feel betrayed by you, or on the contrary, they may have done something that unintentionally caused you pain. It's also possible that they once placed their trust in something or someone other than you, and because of that, they now carry a lingering sense of guilt, regret, or even inner torment. This person seems to still be holding onto an unanswered question, something they now wish they had asked you clearly back then. They continue to wonder whether that thing was real or just a lie. They don't know what the truth really was in the events that unfolded. At the same time, they may also have come to realize that one of their past actions could have hurt you more than they had understood at the time. And yet, when looking at the final two cards, it becomes clear that what this person truly wants to convey is this: there are truths that cannot be seen with the eyes alone. They hope that you can trust in what your heart once felt, because those are the truths that matter most. The card "Listen with Your Heart" has appeared, indicating that the bond between the two of you wasn't just shaped by what happened on the surface, but was also deeply influenced by outside information, spoken words, or circumstances beyond your control. Perhaps that's exactly why either you or they were swayed. But this person wants you to know that what they truly think, what they truly feel, can only be heard if you listen with your heart. Don't just look at what's shown on the outside. Don't judge based on the surface. Instead, feel more deeply, listen more deeply. That brings us to the end of the reading for those of you who chose Pile 1. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and support it by giving the video a like. Your encouragement is a powerful source of motivation that helps me continue creating new content. If something in this reading touched your heart, I hope you'll leave a comment or even a small symbol to let me know that the message has reached you. I always look forward to reading your thoughts, so don't hesitate to share what's on your mind. Thank you for watching until the very end. I'll see you again in the next reading. Hello to those of you who chose Pile 2. Thank you for your patience. Now, I'll begin the reading for those who selected this second pile. I hope this spread brings you healing, fresh insights, and moments filled with love. The theme is the true feelings of the one you no longer see. First, let's take a look at this person's current state. The cards that have appeared are the Page of Wands, Page of Swords, and Nine of Wands, accompanied by the Fool and two Oracle cards. One carries a message of release, while the other speaks of elevation, an image of someone soaring, wings wide open in the sky, filled with a sense of "I've done it," or at last, something is truly over. It suggests they may have overcome a phase, finally closing an old chapter in their life. There is a strong feeling of "it's finally done" or "I've broken free." In the past, they may have felt stuck, unable to move forward, caught in the middle of difficulties they couldn't resolve. The Mountain card, combined with the Nine of Wands, reflects a time of stagnation, of not knowing what to do or how to overcome something. But now it seems they've managed to rise above that challenge. A new surge of energy is emerging, powerful, light, and full of hope. That is the current state that the cards are showing. Next, let's explore the reason why the two of you are currently not seeing each other. The energy coming from you carries a very gentle tone. There is no heaviness, no gloom in this spread. It feels as though the separation between you and this person might only be temporary. Perhaps due to some specific reason, a distance has formed, but looking at the overall energy, the reading conveys a very clear sense that the two of you will meet again. It doesn't feel like a permanent parting, but rather a pause, and in time, a reunion seems likely. It appears that the reason you're not seeing each other isn't rooted in tension or conflict. Instead, there's an understanding between the two of you about what is happening. You may have already come to the realization that this is just one of those times, a phase in which meeting each other has become difficult, a period of distance that's simply inevitable for now. In this reading, the energy doesn't feel heavy or dark in any way. Especially from your side, the cards show a sense of calm, acceptance, and a lack of blame. The Eight of Swords appearing alongside the card symbolizing a bird suggests that the reason the two of you cannot meet right now is likely due to being busy. It isn't caused by conflict or misunderstanding, but rather by practical matters, such as relocation, a new job, or mismatched schedules. As seen in the earlier part of the reading, this person had gone through a suffocating phase, like being trapped in a maze with no clear way out. They may have had to accept an undesired situation, something beyond their control, and were forced to move through it. However, at present, they are gradually emerging from that state. The cards reveal a sense of release, a quiet exhale of relief. It's not a sudden severance, but rather a period where both parties understand the reasons behind the temporary pause. The presence of the Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, and the image of a hawk indicates that both you and this person have numerous responsibilities to manage. Both of you are pouring your energy into pressing duties and obligations to the point that there is no time or capacity left to sustain the connection as before. Therefore, this temporary distance is not the end. It is merely a brief step back to focus on urgent matters in the present moment. In addition, the cards featuring the image of a hawk and a boat also suggest that there may be a physical distance separating the two of you. You are going through an important phase in your own life, while this person is equally caught up in a busy period. Both of you are walking your own individual paths. This sense of separation is strongly felt throughout the reading. The Five of Wands, paired with the image of the boat, indicates that the recent period has likely been overwhelming, filled with tasks and responsibilities, leaving no room for either of you to make time for each other. There's a strong sense that the distance between you is not something easily bridged. It feels like one person is bound to stay in place, while the other is constantly on the move. In this case, you may be the one who must remain where you are, unable to leave, while the other seems to be in motion, relocating, traveling for work, or frequently changing locations. It's also possible that the two of you were once very close, perhaps even physically near. But due to circumstances, one of you had to leave, and over time, that distance gradually took shape. Still, there's a clear impression that this person is someone dynamic, perhaps engaged in a career where many people rely on them or place expectations on their shoulders. They may have a certain level of public recognition or magnetic charm, possibly working in a field related to the arts, media, communication, or a role that places them in the public eye. Next, we come to the emotions this person once longed to release, the feelings they had been carrying in their heart for a very long time. The cards that appeared were Four of Wands, Five of Swords, accompanied by the Ten of Pentacles and Three of Wands. Three oracle cards also revealed themselves simultaneously. These cards suggest that, at some point, this person harbored a strong desire for everything to just end quickly, as if they had felt stifled, overwhelmed, and desperately wanted to break free from that state as soon as possible. This was a feeling they never voiced out loud, but had suppressed within for a long time. A deep fatigue, a sense of helplessness, and an inner turmoil born from the inability to do anything differently. Perhaps they had to let go of something important, or felt pushed into a situation where no one truly won, a battle that left only silent wounds. And within them, there was a quiet voice that kept echoing over time, "I just want this to end soon," not because they didn't care, but because they were truly exhausted. It's possible that what this person had been longing for was simply for everything to finally settle down, whether in terms of their living situation, career, or mental and emotional state. They had endured quite a lot, perhaps silently bearing through things over a long period of time. When the reading turned its focus to this relationship, much like in the previous spread, the energy surrounding you, the one who chose this pile, revealed that external circumstances and living environments have played a significant role in the dynamic between the two of you. Two particular cards here express a sense that this person has repeatedly had to yield to others, unable to live life on their own terms. While one of these cards often carries a meaning of selfishness, in this context, it does not imply a negative form of self-centeredness. Instead, it points to the emotional exhaustion and wounds they've carried, the situations that have forced them to reflect deeply and fight silent internal battles. The Ten of Pentacles appears, a symbol of tradition, long-standing connections, and deeply rooted expectations that have shaped their life for years. It's likely that these very ties are what made them want to break free. There is a strong sense that they've had to suppress a great deal of themselves, suppress their true passions, their genuine interests, their personal desires. Perhaps it was about hobbies, the freedom to enjoy time for themselves, or dreams they never had the chance to pursue. The Three of Wands reveals that they had always wanted to break free from that state, to take action, to do what they truly desired. Yet they were held back by real-world limitations, by unbreakable obligations. They once saw others, or perhaps one specific person, achieve something they deeply yearned for, but which they themselves could not reach, could not keep up with. That feeling of being left behind, of falling out of step with others, lingered painfully within them. All of those pent-up emotions, sadness, envy, disappointment, and longing, had built up into a heavy burden they carried in their heart. And that is what they had once wished to be freed from. As shown repeatedly throughout the reading, they are now entering a more peaceful phase. Perhaps they've already begun to release some of that weight, or at the very least, are in the process of liberating themselves from what had long kept them bound. This person has always wanted to clear everything away, to make things transparent, to bring clarity, to feel light and at ease in their mind. A card symbolizing recovery has also appeared, suggesting they are gradually regaining balance. Perhaps in the past, they were forced to live at a certain pace, to move carefully, cautiously, slowly, and it was precisely this slow pace that suffocated them. The feeling of being unable to move faster, of not being able to act according to their own will, caused them profound inner distress. One card reveals an image of them constantly looking at others, those around them, with a sense of admiration. If only I could be like that. If only I could do that. Such thoughts used to echo repeatedly in their mind. And yet, they couldn't bring themselves to do it. Perhaps they believed they were unable to step out of their current situation, or maybe they had never even truly considered the possibility because the environment they were living in had become so familiar that it numbed their senses, to the point where they could no longer see how unnatural it truly was. They had lived in a world where restriction was seen as normal. They had become used to sacrificing, to having no choice, so much so that even they no longer recognized how deeply conditioned that reality was. But then, at some point, they awakened. They realized that such a state no longer suited them. And that was the emotional weight they had always longed to release, the burden that had been quietly accumulating within their heart for so long. Now, we come to their current thoughts about the relationship between the two of you. The first cards that appeared were the Magician and the card depicting a path. This indicates that they are sensing an opportunity, as if a new door is opening. They believe that from this point onward, things between the two of you can start anew. Not by returning to the past, but by beginning a new chapter in a different way. A true beginning, with the belief that this time, both of you can move forward from here. Adding to this is the presence of the Three of Swords and the Star, a profoundly powerful combination. The Three of Swords recalls the pain that once existed, the wounds that hurt both of you or made this relationship difficult. Yet the Star shines as a beacon of hope. This person is still holding onto hope. Despite the hurt, despite the sorrow, they continue to look toward the future with a desire to heal and to begin a new journey with you. It's possible that they are longing to have you, or are trying to seize the opportunity once more, a chance that may have slipped away in the past. The nature of your current connection can vary depending on individual circumstances, and the time apart may differ for each of you. Still, in their heart, you are someone they have clearly chosen. They have found certainty within themselves about their feelings for you. The cards the Empress, Six of Swords, and Knight of Swords appeared in succession, like a sequence of movement. This person wants to move toward you, wants to come see you, wants to express the feelings and thoughts they've been holding inside. There is a very clear energy here. They want to take a step forward, to finally say what they couldn't say before. They are in the process of letting go of what is no longer necessary, emotionally, circumstantially, and in terms of the past. The things that once made them hesitate or hold back no longer have power over them. They are ready to move forward. The card representing unspoken love and the card of planning and action appeared together as well. This shows that they are seriously thinking about what to do next, that if they don't speak their truth soon, the opportunity may slip away again. It's possible this person once loved you silently or lacked the courage to fully show their feelings before. But now, they feel the time has come, a true beginning for the two of you. They're sensing clearly that, at last, they can move toward you, and that thought fills them with hope. Next is the part that speaks of what this person regrets. The Ten of Wands, paired with the image of a dog, reflects a deep inner conflict and remorse. It suggests that, in the past, they carried too much responsibility, duty, sacrifice, and as a result, were unable to live authentically according to their emotions. It's possible they missed a precious opportunity with you simply because they were trying to fulfill obligations to others, or because of the pressure imposed by their surroundings. The Four of Swords, supported by the Two of Cups and the image of a bear, a symbol of restrained strength, shows that they now regret not taking action sooner. At that time, they felt they had no other choice, as if they were forced into silence, but deep down, they still carry that regret. Because the genuine feelings shared between the two of you, the love, the bond, were set aside, left unexplored. And that is something that still weighs heavily on their heart to this day. What they regret most may be their inability to speak, whether they couldn't or didn't dare to express what was truly happening within them at the time. In some cases, there may have been a small fracture in the trust between you, but they couldn't bring themselves to explain. The feeling is clear. They chose silence instead of telling the truth. This person knows they have fully felt the love you gave them. They knew you cared, knew you were there, always offering your presence and affection. But perhaps they pretended not to notice. Even though they understood it clearly, they acted as if they didn't. And the reason is, at that time, they simply couldn't reciprocate. They may have been bound by some responsibility or something in their life that had to take precedence, perhaps work, family, or simply their own inner confusion and helplessness. They weren't living in alignment with their true feelings or weren't able to choose what they genuinely desired. But now things are different, they have changed, and everything around them is also gradually shifting in a more positive direction. The Ten of Cups, a symbol of complete emotional fulfillment, appears here alongside the Knight of Pentacles and the Four-Leaf Clover, a card of luck and blessings. Together, they affirm this truth. Despite all the hardships of the past, you were the greatest source of emotional support they ever had. Looking back, they feel this with deep gratitude. In their weakest moments, when they were tired, lost, or in crisis, you were the one who remained, silently offering strength. However, at that time, they couldn't return your love, not because they didn't want to, but because they simply weren't able to. And it is this very fact that they continue to regret to this day. That is the very regret this person now carries in their heart. The next three cards suggest that, in the past, they may not have truly seen you for who you were. Perhaps they overlooked your presence, or failed to give you the appreciation you so rightfully deserved. But it wasn't because you weren't important, it was because, at that time, there was something unresolved between you that weighed heavily on their mind. Something unavoidable. Something that held them back from acting on their true desires. The card of sowing seeds appears, a symbol of timing, beginnings, and hesitation. This person may have once thought, if only I had acted sooner, if only I had made a different choice back then. Their regret isn't just about a missed opportunity, it's also about the timing. That they didn't seize the moment when it mattered most, and ended up letting something precious slip away. And now, at last, the reading reveals the truest feelings they hold in the present moment. The cards that appeared were the Three of Cups, supported by the Six of Pentacles and the image of a fox, indicating that, at present, there may still be a connection between the two of you. Perhaps you and this person are still friends, colleagues, or share some kind of social or community bond. But the feelings this person holds inside go far beyond the current nature of your relationship. The Lover's card has emerged, revealing that this person desires something deeper, something more meaningful. They want the relationship to evolve into true love or a profoundly intimate connection. They no longer wish to remain at the surface. Instead, they long for your heart to turn back toward them. There is a very clear yearning expressed in the cards. I want you to return my feelings. They are hoping, waiting, and ready to draw closer to you with a sincere heart. The Seven of Swords, accompanied by the Hanged Man and the Reciprocity card, delivers a striking message. This person is gradually stepping out of the shadows, or may have already emerged from a period of confusion, hesitation, and avoidance. They no longer wish to be a victim of sacrifice. Now, they are done hiding their emotions or trading away their true desires just to please others. This person is gradually becoming more courageous, daring to speak their truth, daring to clearly express what they truly want. I want this. I want to be with you. I want a relationship that is honest and defined. These feelings are not only meant for you, but also something they now wish to share openly with those around them. As a declaration, you are the one I love, and I'm no longer going to hide it. As previously seen, the Lover's card has appeared once more, this time accompanied by the Three of Pentacles and the Speak Out card. This combination reveals that they don't just want a romantic relationship, but a solid foundation, something the two of you can build together, a connection grounded in mutual effort and shared meaning. They want to be by your side, just the two of you, to have real, uninterrupted moments of intimacy where your hearts can connect fully, free from the noise of the outside world. This person wants to define the relationship. They no longer wish to remain in uncertainty or halfway states. They want to be your partner, to create something lasting and clear with you. The final three oracle cards are also incredibly powerful, especially the card representing a promise. The message here can be understood in two ways, either as a sincere, serious commitment or as a deep desire to offer you a promise that holds meaning for the future. This is a moment when this person wants to show their genuine intentions, to make a clear vow, or to move toward a more lasting form of commitment within the relationship. Everything points to the fact that they are now ready to love wholeheartedly, with nothing left to hide. The card of new love and several uplifting messages also appeared, revealing that this person holds a very hopeful and optimistic outlook toward the connection. The feelings they have for you, a kind of love, a gentle and profound emotion, have already begun to take root in their heart, and over time have only grown stronger. Even though you may be in a period of physical separation, it is precisely in that distance that they have come to truly recognize the value of what they feel for you. They are seriously considering taking action, that they will be the one to step forward, to express their feelings to you, to show their emotions not only through words, but through tangible actions. They also want to present themselves to you more authentically, without hiding, without putting up walls, but instead with an open heart. When two more cards were drawn, the Queen of Swords and the Page of Cups, they formed a deeply meaningful combination. These cards speak not only of honesty in communication and emotion, but also of the desire to build a relationship that is clear and defined, free from ambiguity. When paired with the card of promise or commitment, the message becomes even more evident. This person no longer wants you to feel alone. It's possible they have recently signed an important work contract or reached a significant milestone in their life, something that now allows them to feel more secure, more stable. This newfound foundation is what empowers them to finally move forward towards you with sincerity and clarity. And now, they may finally be ready to come to you as an equal, someone capable of loving you with full sincerity and seriousness. Although the two of you may have had to part ways in the past due to external circumstances, what truly matters is that they never left you in spirit, never intended to be unclear or dishonest. There were meaningful reasons that required a temporary distance between you. But now, what they genuinely long for is a new beginning, to rebuild this relationship with you, wholly and solidly. That brings us to the end of the reading for those who chose Group 2. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to click like and subscribe to support the channel. Your encouragement is a powerful motivation that inspires me to continue bringing you even more meaningful readings. If any part of today's message resonated with your heart, feel free to leave a comment, or even just a small symbol, to let me know it reached you. I truly appreciate every single message and look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I'll see you again in the next reading. Hello to everyone who chose Pile 3. Thank you for waiting. Now, I will begin the reading for those of you who selected the third pile. I hope this reading brings you healing, new awareness, and moments filled with love. The theme is their true feelings at this moment, the person you no longer see or meet. First, let's look into their current state. The cards that appeared are the King of Pentacles, supported by the Knight of Swords, the Star, and the Three of Wands. Alongside them are the Five of Wands and two Oracle cards. Overall, I sense a strong sense of stubbornness and resistance from this person. At the moment, they seem to be in a state where they are unwilling to yield, a bit defensive, even obstinate. For some of you, it's possible that the two of you had an argument or even a breakup after a conflict, which has led to the current distance between you, and this may resonate with certain situations. This person is someone of considerable wealth or holds a certain social status. However, they don't seem to feel fully satisfied with their current stability. It appears that they are yearning to reach higher, to achieve more in life, a desire clearly reflected in the Knight of Swords and Three of Wands. They may be striving toward a particular goal or focusing intensely on their career and personal growth. Yet, alongside all that, it's possible that they are still thinking of you, holding a quiet wish in their heart to see you again. It's likely that the two of you haven't seen each other for quite some time. As for the Five of Wands earlier, I mentioned the possibility of conflict or tension. But when viewed in the context of their current state, this card feels more like a sign of how overwhelmed they are. It's possible that they are constantly caught up in a whirlwind of work or personal obligations, making it difficult for them to rest or to reconnect. And finally, the two Oracle cards that appeared are Healing and Home. These cards suggest a desire for reconciliation, or perhaps a dream of creating a home, a place they can return to where you are present. It's possible that this person is wishing to reconcile the relationship. At the same time, their mind seems to be tangled in the past, present, and future, as if everything has become complicated and chaotic. The House card suggests that at some point, they may have closed themselves off or shut the door to their heart, which only reinforces a sense of stubbornness and emotional rigidity. In this relationship, it feels as though they are stuck in limbo, unable to move forward, yet unable to step back, unsure of whether to continue or let go. Now, let's look into the reason why the two of you have stopped seeing each other. The cards that appeared are the Knight of Cups, supported by the Four of Swords, the Sun, the Queen of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords. Alongside them are three oracle cards, the Fish, the Sun, and the Mountain. First of all, it seems that one of you may have tried to act strong at some point, refusing to yield, perhaps out of pride, or a stubborn attachment to personal beliefs. Another possibility is that an event occurred which caused everything you both had been building together to fall apart. There's a sense that this person became distracted or inattentive, drawn to something else, as if something external captured their attention and led them to look in another direction. It's also possible that this relationship was interrupted midway, as if the two of you had been walking forward together and then suddenly stopped for some unknown reason. It appears that both of you were starting to look in different directions, lacking a shared vision or common goal. This divergence in perspective led to a disconnect, making it impossible to move forward together at that particular moment. The appearance of the Sun card also brings to mind the possibility that some form of deception may have occurred, or at the very least, something unclear was finally brought to light. Perhaps you discovered the truth or sensed that something wasn't right, something was revealed that made it impossible to continue the relationship, forcing it to come to an end. The Four of Swords card further reflects emotional exhaustion, as if the soul had grown too weary from the weight of this love. And here, it seems there may have been something you couldn't accept, or conversely, something this person couldn't receive from you emotionally. Within this relationship, it appears that you were the one who gave more, you loved more deeply, your emotions were more intense. Perhaps you even felt that this person didn't reciprocate the love you gave them in a meaningful way. On the other hand, it's also possible that you were never able to fully express your true feelings, emotions that you held inside but never revealed, symbolized by the Fish card and the Three of Pentacles. There may have been a sense of dissatisfaction or emotional unacknowledgement in the relationship. Even though a connection did exist between the two of you, there still seemed to be a certain distance that couldn't be bridged. In some cases, this connection may have had a transactional nature, like that of a client and a service provider, or perhaps it consisted only of occasional encounters, without any real sense of commitment. It might have been that only when you reached out did the two of you meet, and if you didn't, everything remained silent. This created a one-sided dynamic, leaving you to wonder whether this person truly wanted to be close to you at all. To gain deeper clarity, I drew one more card, Eight of Cups. This card speaks of walking away, letting go, or the realization that the two of you are no longer aligned. Your perspectives on love, or the direction of the relationship, may have diverged too much. It brings to mind the energy that appeared in the reading for Pile 1, an unmistakable sense that there was something fundamentally different between you two, something that couldn't be reconciled. There may also have been a gap between expectations and reality, meaning the image you had of this person, or vice versa, didn't match what eventually unfolded. Perhaps they believed you were a certain type of person, but as they got to know you more deeply, they realized there was a disconnect between their assumptions and the truth. In addition, the Seven of Swords combined with the Mountain card suggests that this person once felt, "This is something I simply can't overcome." There may have been an invisible wall, an internal block that led them to believe they weren't strong enough to move forward or couldn't overcome the obstacle with you. The reason the two of you stopped seeing each other might stem from something deeply rooted, such as a fundamental difference in life values, or perhaps because you were in a situation they perceived as too great a challenge. And so, they chose to step back. They felt, "I can't overcome this." The difference between you may have been a gap they believed couldn't be bridged. This might feel heavy for some of you listening, but it could very well be the deeper reason why this person chose to withdraw. Perhaps they are avoiding something, avoiding confrontation, avoiding responsibility, or avoiding emotions that frighten them. There's also a possibility that you and this person had differing needs or desires. You may have been longing for a stable relationship, possibly even looking toward marriage, while they were not ready for that kind of commitment. They may have thought, now isn't the right time, or I can't give you what you want. The two of you might have gotten along very well in the beginning. There was a strong initial connection, a great impression of one another. But as the relationship deepened and the bond grew closer, both of you began to notice misalignments, differences that hadn't been apparent at first. There's also a possibility that within this relationship, one person longed to lean on the other, to be vulnerable, to show a softer side, but wasn't allowed to do so. It's as if that emotional need was denied or left unacknowledged. Now, let's explore what this person has been suppressing, the emotions they've been wanting to release, the things they've held in their heart for a long time. The cards reveal that the first message comes through the Magician, supported by the King of Wands and the Heart card. This suggests that they once wanted to take the lead in the relationship. They wanted to be the one in control, the one who set the direction. If there was ever a time when they felt restrained or unable to fully be themselves, that could be the reason they buried those deeper emotions inside. This isn't something that only you have experienced. I sense that this energy appears across all the readings as a recurring theme. The desire to take initiative, to have the freedom to express oneself without fear or limitation. They may have fallen for you at first sight, or once felt a deep and powerful emotion toward you, but were unable to express it clearly. Perhaps they never spoke aloud the feelings they truly carried, feelings they now long to release from their heart. Next, the cards that appeared are the Nine of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Birds. These give a strong sense that this person didn't want to feel confined or pressured into any kind of structure. They didn't want to live according to predetermined expectations, whether those came from family, society, or any kind of imposed ideal. For them, freedom seems to be of great importance. There is also the possibility that rumors or gossip once surrounded your connection, perhaps about you, or about the relationship itself. These whispers may have come from people around you, possibly without your knowledge. It's possible that you were once the subject of others' conversations, or that your relationship became a topic of hidden discussions, and this left a sense of emotional fatigue in this person, prompting them to retreat into silence and conceal many of their true feelings. It's possible that this person once heard something unpleasant from someone else, a conversation you were completely unaware of. And they kept it to themselves all this time, never telling you. That may have been part of what led them to suppress their emotions, adding to the emotional weight they carried in the relationship. Next came the cards Five of Swords, Seven of Wands, and the Circle. These clearly suggest that this person once tried to protect you. Even if they never said it aloud, they silently fought for you, perhaps against outside opinions, or even against opposition from those close to them. It feels like they were caught in a battle you never knew about. Deep down, they may still carry things they couldn't express, pressures from society, from family, or from the environment around them, burdens they didn't want you to bear. I've mentioned before that this person had a desire to take the lead, to be the one in control of the relationship, and that desire is reaffirmed here. At the same time, they were fighting against the world to defend what they believed in, to protect you. And yet, because they loved you, they chose not to tell you everything. They kept it to themselves, not wanting to make you worry. As I look at the next cards, I feel something deeply moving. This person never truly wanted to let go. They didn't want to give up, nor did they wish for separation. The next card is the Ten of Wands, a symbol of burden, exhaustion, and the weight of carrying too much on one's shoulders. This person has endured a great deal, possibly emotionally, in terms of responsibility, and in carrying things they couldn't share with anyone else. Another notable point is that the theme of children has consistently appeared throughout the reading. The Sun card earlier, the Ten of Pentacles, which represents family, lineage, and now the oracle message about family. All of these elements point to family or children being a key factor in the relationship between you and this person. It may represent a heartfelt wish, something they once dreamed of but couldn't bring to life, or even a source of pressure, something that made everything harder to explain, more complicated to navigate. Regarding the emotions that this person once longed to release, those that have been suppressed deep within, the feeling might have been, in some cases, that you came across as a bit childish or, at times, somewhat lacking in maturity in your behavior. Additionally, the image of children could symbolize a shared element between the two of you, perhaps something that has influenced the relationship, or a factor that made this person feel a sense of responsibility, something they couldn't turn away from. Another possibility is that this person is in a leadership position or runs a business, circumstances that prevent them from abandoning their responsibilities or living according to their personal emotions. The role they hold comes with many constraints and pressures, which limit their freedom to choose as they wish. Deep down, they truly love you, but because of societal roles or certain duties, they were forced to let go. There's a clear sense of helplessness, as if they were unable to protect you, unable to preserve this love, even though they never wanted to let go. Next, let's take a look at what this person currently feels regretful about. The cards that have appeared are the Seven of Cups, the Knight, the King of Swords, and a card symbolizing desire or longing. From these cards, the most evident emotion is regret for not having given a clear answer, for allowing things to become vague and unresolved. It seems that this person once avoided making a decision or evaded directly facing their emotions, which led the situation into a state of ambiguity and lack of clarity. They now regret not having expressed what they truly wanted, not having brought transparency to the relationship when there was still a chance. There is an overarching sense of indecisiveness. They failed to make the right choice at the right time, failed to take a firm stance in a relationship that should have been built on sincerity and openness. And it is precisely this lack of action that now torments them. They feel remorse for not stepping up when seriousness, clarity, and decisive action were required. Even though they once wished to take the lead, when the opportunity finally came, they hesitated, they faltered. Perhaps in this relationship, the one who had to shoulder the responsibility, the one who had to take the lead, was you. Although that wasn't what they had hoped for, reality played out that way. All of this speaks of a profound indecisiveness, as if they were never truly able to commit to a clear direction for both of you. The appearance of the Nine of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the symbol of the book reflects a deep sense of regret for not having prepared thoroughly, for failing to observe the relationship with care, and for not learning enough from what was unfolding between you. Perhaps, at some point, you had offered advice or shared a perspective, but they didn't truly listen. Things that should have been approached with thoughtful consideration were instead treated lightly or merely skimmed over. And perhaps this pattern repeated itself again and again throughout the relationship, until now, when they are finally starting to understand. The accompanying oracle card confirms this message. This person failed to act when it mattered most. They didn't step forward when they needed to. When they should have spoken their truth, when they should have shown their feelings or taken a stand, they chose silence instead. The guide card has also appeared. This can be interpreted in several ways. On one hand, it signifies the regret of not allowing their inner self to lead, of not following the voice of their heart. On the other hand, it could also reflect how their social position, responsibilities, or the role they carried prevented them from expressing themselves with honesty and vulnerability. This person seems to have been unable to act in alignment with their true self, and now that very fact continues to weigh heavily on their mind. At some point, they may have seen themselves as someone meant to guide you, to be the one who provides, whether that meant offering knowledge, experience, support, or simply protection. But what they now deeply regret is that they didn't truly take the time to understand, that they didn't listen to your advice, that they couldn't be there for you when you needed someone to share your thoughts and feelings with. Perhaps you once asked them, "What should I do?" or "What should we do?" But they couldn't give you an answer. Either they avoided the question, or deep down, they felt they weren't capable of saying something meaningful, and that, now, is what torments them. Now, let's look into their honest emotions at this moment. The first card is the Nine of Cups, a card of wishes, of quiet, heartfelt emotions, supported by the Six of Swords and the Ring. Two very clear layers of meaning emerge here. On one hand, they hold a wish that, if the relationship could be seen from a long-term perspective, they would want to rebuild the trust between you. They haven't completely let go. In the depths of their being, there still lingers a quiet longing for connection, for understanding, and for the chance to weather the storms together. On the other hand, it's also possible that right now this person is silently wishing you well, in a complete and unconditional way. They want you to be happy. Even if your path no longer includes them, what they still hope for is this: may you live in peace and fullness. It's a tender emotion, gentle, yet filled with a quiet ache. However, looking deeper, the next cards, the Moon, the Knight of Wands, and the Bear, reveal something else. Within this person, there still exists a fear. There's something that causes them anxiety, a lingering sense of unease, and much of it comes from what remains unseen. They fear ambiguity, fear the uncertainty of the future, fear having to confront emotions that have yet to be fully named. It may be the fear of getting hurt, or the fear that if they were to return, things would never be the same. And this fear is what's holding them back, making them hesitate, unable to move forward with clarity. They are still quietly watching over you, carrying with them a desire for forgiveness, a lingering sense of remorse, and a delay rooted in their struggle to overcome their own inner barriers. This person seems to be carrying a deep-rooted fear, a fear of being seen, a fear of having their true feelings recognized by you. They may be worried that if you were to discover what they're really thinking, they would no longer be able to maintain the distance or composure they've been trying so hard to uphold. In some cases, they also feel unsettled because they don't know how you're doing, whether you're okay, whether you're happy. There might be a quiet worry within them. Are you truly at peace? Or, if you're going through something difficult, is there anything I could do for you? It's also possible that, not knowing where you currently stand emotionally or what your situation is, they find themselves uncertain about what actions to take, whether to reach out or to wait in silence. Next, the cards that have appeared are the Ten of Cups, the Four of Wands, and once again, the Moon. These cards reveal two very distinct layers of meaning. First, they show that this person is still holding on to the hope of seeing you again one day, when things have settled, when the circumstances allow, when both of you have moved beyond your personal burdens. They think of a future reunion, one that is free from complications, filled only with joy and a sense of relief. Secondly, this person is also contemplating the possibility that even if the two of you never meet again, they still genuinely hope that each of you will find happiness in your own separate paths. You may be in one place, they in another, yet within their heart, they continue to send you their warmest wishes. And so, you are free to feel and interpret these emotions in the way that best fits your own reality. The next oracle card confirms this. If you are going through a difficult time, this person sincerely wants to help. They sense that you might be someone who often overexerts yourself, someone who takes on too much and carries burdens silently. They believe you tend to endure things alone, rarely opening up to others. And if there were anything they could do to support you, no matter how small, they would be willing to do it. It's a quiet, yet genuine form of care. Ultimately, it seems this person has surrendered to the flow of destiny. If the bond is meant to be, they trust that the two of you will meet again. If not, they still silently pray for you to live in peace. They no longer try to control the outcome, they've released it to fate, but within their heart, there remains a soft, tender space that belongs only to you. At this moment, this person has no intention of taking initiative or creating any specific change. Instead, they have chosen to let everything unfold naturally, allowing the flow of life to lead the way. They believe that if destiny allows, they will meet you again. If the right moment is meant to come, it will come. They do not wish to force anything, nor push circumstances to fit their desires. This is the most honest feeling they hold right now. The card 1 year from now appears, carrying the message that they may be hoping for a certain growth or transformation to happen, perhaps from your side. Of course, this doesn't apply to everyone, so you're encouraged to listen to your own inner feelings. It could also mean that they are hoping to grow and mature themselves over the next year, so that when the time comes, the two of you might meet again under better conditions. However, one thing remains constant. This person continues to silently wish you happiness. They genuinely hope you are at peace, and they are watching over you from afar with a gentle kind of support, as if softly saying, "Hang in there." Perhaps you're going through a difficult time, and even though there is no longer contact between you, they can still sense it. And so, they send you a quiet message of encouragement. Stay strong and keep going. I'll end the reading for those who chose pile 3 here. If what I've shared offered you meaningful insight or simply resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like to show your support. Thank you so much for staying with me until the very end. Wishing you a peaceful and lucky day. See you again in the next readings.